Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 326 based on novel. So let's start. Linkai. Xiao Yan was relieved when he saw this scene, but only muttered slightly. Lord, how did you do that? Suddenly, in the void of the ghost cemetery, the illusory body of the Soul Eater and the figure of the Queen of Ghosts appeared at the same time, and the Queen of Ghosts said in shock. When the Lord of Souls attacked our Soul Eater domain, I was plotted by them, which caused my source to be injured, so I could only follow the tide and leave Soul Eater domain, but fortunately, I was met by this little guy halfway, so I was taken care of by this guy along the way. Reluctantly regained some strength. Looking at the red-clothed figure in front of him, the Soul Eater opened his mouth slightly, his voice full of vicissitudes. Lord, it's great that you're fine. The Queen of Ghosts was also excited when she heard the Master of Soul Eater make such an understatement. Linkai, because of me, our Soul Eater domain suffered heavy losses during the war. I'm ashamed of you. Seeing Linkai being so loyal in front of him, the Soul Eater Lord couldn't help shaking his head and said, Lord, you are wrong. In the ghost world, there is no second person who knows the righteousness like you, so even if we disappear, we are still willing. This time, we, Soul Eater domain, must pay Li Soul domain. Suddenly, looking at the Soul Eater Lord in front of her, the Queen of Ghosts spoke hotly. The Queen of Ghosts was originally a strong man in Soul Eater, but in that war, she was captured by the strong man in Li Soul territory, so because of the particularity of their own strength, it was difficult to be easily obliterated. In the past, the ghosts of Ice and Fire Island were generally sealed and suppressed in some places in Li Soul territory. This is my fourth disciple, Xiao Yan. He is a member of the Xiao family. After a while, the Soul Eater slowly looked at Xiao Yan and smiled. The fourth disciple? The Queen of Ghosts was shocked when she heard the words. Who is the Lord of Soul Eater? This is the real power of Soul Eater in the entire ghost world. It is enough to rank among the supreme people in the Great Thousand World. To be accepted as a disciple by such a power is enough to show the talent of this guy. Xiao clan? Suddenly, as the Soul Eater opened his mouth, the Ghost Queen couldn't help covering her mouth and nose with her jade hand through the veil and lost her voice. Xiao clan. These two words seemed to contain some kind of special magic that shocked the countless powerhouses in the entire Great Thousand World. The word Xiao clan is enough to represent the existence close to the peak of the Great Thousand World. However, in the Great Thousand World, the Xiao clan are also many allies who will never die, and some mortal enemies against them. But fortunately, in the Soul Eater domain most of the powerhouses in the group have a good relationship with the Xiao clan. This little guy, I can't tell that the details are so mysterious. But hasn't the Xiao family disappeared now? After a moment of shock, the Ghost Queen also recovered her calm. This time, we entered the Earth Spirit Pagoda to restore my source power. Soon, it should be the day when our Soul Eater domain and Li Soul domain will really declare war. The next moment, the voice of the Soul Eater Lord was like divine punishment. General Majesty is lowered. Lord, the battle between the two domains, this is a big event, it can't be sloppy, and... Hearing the words of the Soul Eater, the Queen of Ghosts couldn't help but hurriedly said. The most urgent task now is to restore the power of the Lord of Soul Eater, so that he can safely him back to the Soul Eater domain. After some sorting out, it will not be too late to return for revenge in the future. Don't worry. Nia has taken some of the main force of our Soul Eater domain to secretly go here. The prestige of our Soul Eater territory must be washed with blood by the powerhouses of Li Soul territory. The majestic voice emerged like thunder. Lord Shengming. Seeing that Soul Eater was so confident, the Ghost Queen immediately said respectfully, For now, I'd better give this little guy some strength. After all, the rest of the Earth Spirit Pagoda can only rely on him. After their brief conversation, the Soul Eater said, Little guy, come here. Hearing the Master Soul Eater speak, the Queen Ghost's voice softened, staring at Xiao Yan and said, Sister Linkai, hey. Seeing the Queen of Ghosts being so kind, Xiao Yan also laughed. Obviously, this guy was suppressed in the Earth Spirit Pagoda by the powerhouses of Li Soul domain. Naturally, he has gained a lot of treasures over the years. The mouth is quite sweet. According to the rules of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, my power can only be obtained by defeating me, but since you are the fourth disciple of the Master, then I can break the line for you once. The Queen of Ghosts laughed. Boom. With a sound, an incomparably majestic tide of soul spread out from the feet of the Ghost Queen, and immediately swept the entire ghost cemetery. Lord, please dodge first, I will block the perception of the strong in the Earth Spirit Academy, otherwise you will be leaked. After a while, the Queen of Ghosts said slowly, "En." With a sound, the Soul Eater's body rushed back into Xiao Yang's body. Crash! The Soul Eater had just disappeared, and suddenly, in the ghost cemetery, countless grey and white tombstones exploded suddenly, and a wave of unspeakable terrifying fluctuations suddenly exploded, and in these tombstones, a trace of essence pure power gathered towards the center, and at the same time, something seemed to be cut off on the first floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda. The first floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, the Ghost Cemetery. I remember that this is the residence of the Queen of Ghosts. Why was the connection suddenly cut off? These powerhouses in Soul Eater have become more and more restless recently. Is it a sign that something major has happened? The young man with the broom slowly opened his mouth and wondered. This guy's strength is extremely obscure, but very few people know that this guy is the vice president of the Earth Courtyard. After a few minutes, in the entire ghost cemetery, countless grey and white tombstones turned into powder, and the land became smooth, but on the only red tombstone that existed at the top of the ghost cemetery, there was a pale blue light pill slowly appeared. This is the source of the ghost. The ghost is similar to the soul body, you can directly absorb it and break through the soul power of the midterm peak of Tai Shu. The opening said, obviously in order to condense this thing, it consumes a lot of power. Thank you. When Xiao Yang heard the words, he didn't refuse, he just stood cross-legged in the void, and the source of the ghost was swallowed directly. Immediately, one after another of pure soul power was strung directly into his spiritual palace, facing the 9th floor spiritual palace. The second layer is filled up. This is the power of devouring. You can't expose it now. When the horn blows, you can easily crack the suppression here by using it. In addition, with your soul power, you should be able to contact some of the powerhouses in our Soul Eater domain. No matter where they are, as long as they can be contacted, they can be rescued this time. In this battle, it's impossible to lose. Seeing Xiao Yang absorbing soul power, the Soul Eater immediately said, "My subordinates take orders." The Soul Eater and the Queen of Ghosts were intensively planning, and Xiao Yang's second-floor spiritual palace was constantly being filled, and his soul power also peaked from the middle stage of Tai Shu. Step into the later stage of Tai Shu slowly. When time passes, it will be 10 days. For 10 days, the Soul Eater and the Ghost Queen were both discussing some details of the attack in the ghost graveyard, and Xiao Yang was naturally devouring the source of ghosts. Whoosh! Is this the soul power of the late stage Tai Shu? Now, with my soul power, I also have enough confidence to set foot on the 5th grade pharmacist of the immortal rank. It seems that I have to find a time to break through the pharmacist. After all, back on the Do Emperor continent, the many conveniences of the pharmacist are quite a lot. It's tempting. Xiao Yang laughed when he noticed that the 3 layers of spiritual palaces in his body shone dazzlingly at the same time. Because this is the ghost world, Xiao Yang didn't want to be a thorn in the eyes of everyone, so he didn't expose his identity as a pharmacist with great fanfare, but it was different when he returned to Do D continent. The many conveniences of a pharmacist would make Xiao Yang feel like walking on the ground. Originally, Xiao Yang's soul power had reached the middle stage of Tai Shu, but he only ignited the first floor of the Ling Palace, but now he has the source of ghosts given by the Queen of Ghosts, not only improving his soul power, but also the Ling Palace. The 2nd and 3rd floors were ignited. Moreover, through the previous fight with the Ghost Queen, Xiao Yang understood that the majestic soul power in this spiritual palace is enough to form an extremely advantageous killer. Although Xiao Yang is not clear about it now, but with the guidance of the Ghost Queen, the use of the Spirit Palace is also becoming more and more proficient. Almost. At such an age, he has reached the soul power of the late stage of Tai Shu. This little guy is worthy of being a descendant of the Xiao family, but the things on his shoulders are not a minority. The road in the future is still long. Looking at Xiao Yang swallowed and vomited, the invisible soul power was constantly being operated by it. The master of Soul Eater laughed. He could perceive that Xiao Yang's soul power was profound now. What the master said is very true. The Queen of Ghosts looked at Xiao Yang, and there was a hint of surprise under the veil. It was obvious that Xiao Yang was able to devour the source of ghosts so calmly. It made him slap his tongue secretly. After all, although the source of ghosts has eliminated the violent atmosphere under his control, it is not an easy task to swallow it. Teacher, Sister Ling Kai. After the breath, Xiao Yang finished adjusting the breath in his body, and smiled slowly at the two of them. There was a hint of joy in his voice. After all, the power of the soul is the strongest in the world. If it weren't for the many opportunities that were difficult to cultivate, Xiao Yang's soul power would still be quite weak today. Since it's over, let's go. I'll leave the matter here to you. Glancing at the rather desolate area in the ghost cemetery, the Soul Eater said, obviously for those who can restore his origin. The thing is quite looking forward to. As long as he recovers his strength, then this battle between the two domains can be completely started. Otherwise, this battle can only be over. After all, the master of the soul of the 8-star fighting immortal level is the pinnacle of the Great Thousand World. General existence, characters of these levels, can definitely not rely on numbers to win. The entrance to the next floor is here. The Queen of Ghosts heard the words and performed the highest etiquette to the Soul Eater that seemed to be exclusive to their Soul Eater domain. After a while, her fingers flicked, and a dark energy burst out of her body. Soaring into the sky, in this void, some rather obscure fluctuations are outlined. Crash. The next moment, the void in front of everyone suddenly became illusory, and a dark channel suddenly appeared. Let's go. After the Master of Soul Eater finished speaking, it turned into a ray of light and poured into Xiao Yang's body. Senior Ling Kai, farewell. Xiao Yang slowly clasped his fists to bid farewell to the Ghost Queen, and immediately stepped into the passage, disappeared into the ghost cemetery, and headed towards the second floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda. Little guy, it's a great blessing for you to be the Master's disciple, but regarding the Xiao family, I'm afraid you still have a long way to go in the future. Because the Earth Spirit Pagoda has the mysterious power of the Chaos element, I don't know where it will send you, but it is said that the things in the depths of the Earth Spirit Pagoda are fixed. I hope you have good luck. I'm also going to complete the task that the Master gave me. The voice just fell, and the place is returning to peace, but with the majestic soul power of the Ghost Queen, some obscure old masters of Soul Eater are also slowly after emerging. Soul Eater's attack on Li Soul Realm also slowly began to sound. On the other side, he left the ghost graveyard and entered the space passage. In the dark void space, mysterious and unpredictable chaotic forces emerged, which made Xiao Yang quite vigilant. This is the space passage and the power of the chaos system. Here, Xiao Yang's power is greatly limited, and he can only let the space power permeate, and Xiao Yang does not know where he can be teleported. With a sound like a broken crystal block emerged from the dark passage, and Xiao Yang's body was immediately pulled into it by a huge suction force at the edge of the space. The second floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda. Xiao Yang nodded slightly, not resisting, just letting it pull, because Xiao Yang knew that the power of the chaos element was definitely not something he could do today. Resistance. After a gloomy aura permeated, Xiao Yang's whole body immediately dissipated in the space channel and was completely replaced by a scene of a rather unfamiliar area. This is where? Just now, he was pulled by a mysterious force, causing a strong light to cover Xiao Yang's sight and perception. Now, with the disappearance of the strong light, Xiao Yang barely opened his eyes, and immediately lost his voice. Here, it is a desolate area, barren mountains, forests and soil, indicating the danger here. This is. After a while, Xiao Yang raised his head, and the majestic soul power spread out like a spring, and immediately replaced all the appearances here. Here is a huge landline with vast terrain, barren soil, decaying forest plants. It seems to be a special area that has been abandoned and forgotten. This is Dragon Land. After Shun breathed, the voice of Soul Eater slowly opened, full of shock. Dragon Land? Xiao Yang couldn't help but speak when he noticed the surprise of the Soul Eater. The next moment, when Xiao Yang's eyes were raised, a trace of shock appeared in his heart. Above the void in the barren area, a dark red coffin slowly stood up, and around the coffin, a cyan dragon shadow with a body over 1,000 feet in size was looming. The first transformation of the gods and the second transformation of the dragon gods were uncontrolled and directly displayed, as if they were under a fatal threat. What exactly is this? Xiao Yang stood quietly on the barren area, looking up at the imposing dark red coffin and the phantom of its 1,000-foot dragon with difficulty. He couldn't help muttering to himself. At this time, in this piece of land, the color of the 1,000-jong giant dragon's body is quite realistic, like nothingness and real existence, and layers of strange aura emerge around it, like clouds and fog. Its head and eyes are tightly closed, as if in a deep sleep. The sharp hooks on the body opened their minions, as if they were afraid of something. This is the land of dragons, in other words, the place where dragons rest. But this guy doesn't seem to be a real dragon. After all, the dragon is a giant-like creature. Even if it falls completely, some old and immortal guys in the dragon will try their best to collect their corpses. Buried among the Hui people, because the dragons are full of treasures, they will not allow the corpses of their own race to be obtained by humans. If the corpse cannot be returned to the dragon cemetery after the death of the dragon clan, it would be a shame for them. The Lord of Soul Eater turned into a black light, filling Xiao Yang's side and saying, "This guy is a bit like the Dragon Blood Emperor." After a while, Xiao Yang frowned and said, "Dragon Blood Martial Emperor. It seems that it is indeed." The Soul Eater heard the words and nodded slowly. "Dragon Blood Emperor, I remember that according to some records left by the Golden Dragon King's uncle, this guy is not a dragon, but a human being, just because he absorbed the blood of the dragon by chance, and his body mutated immediately, so he became a human being. A strong man with dragon blood. His strength is about the level of a 5-star fighting immortal, but the dragon blood and some records about the dragon in his body are envied by countless humans, and he never thought that he would be in the Earth Spirit Pagoda." Looking at the void in front of him, Xiao Yang spoke slowly. Now the dragon god cultivated in his body is the real treasure of the dragon family. If he obtains some treasures from the Dragon Blood Emperor, it will also be of great benefit to his cultivation of the 9 transformations of the dragon god. At the peak, it is comparable to the existence of the dragon god. In the Great Thousand World, anything that has anything to do with the word god will attract countless human beings. The word dragon god is obviously very attractive. There seems to be some treasure in the dark red coffin. After a while, Xiao Yang's eyes became hot, and through the huge dragon shadow, he vaguely sensed a fiery fluctuation in the coffin. This fluctuation seemed to some are similar to the 9 transformations of the dragon god in his body, but they are too vague, so Xiao Yang is not sure. Wake him up. He should be the guardian of the 2nd floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, and the dark red coffin is probably the treasure here. After Shorinshi, the Soul Eater said, "A 5-star fighting immortal level powerhouse, and a powerhouse stained with dragon blood, this is too terrifying." Xiao Yang couldn't help muttering while listening to the master of Soul Eater speak. The Dragon Clan is a race with extremely strong defense and attack power in the Great Thousand World, so the power of this Dragon Blood Emperor is naturally stronger than that of ordinary 5-star humans. Wake up. At the moment when Xiao Yang hesitated, a trace of black energy gushed out of the Lord Soul Eater's finger, directly hitting the illusory figure of the giant dragon. Hu ho ho. In an instant, the eyes of the Thousand-Jong giant dragon suddenly opened, and an extremely angry roar spread out like a sound wave. Damn! Realizing this scene, Xiao Yang's eyes became vigilant, and his eyes were fixed on the huge dragon shadow in front of him. Human, death. Qianzhong Longying just woke up, as if being disturbed and sleeping. Longmu glared at Xiao Yang and roared. The first transformation of the dragon god. Seeing this, Xiao Yang did not dare to be sloppy. He immediately displayed the first transformation of the dragon god. At that time, a hidden golden light flowed over his body, but Xiao Yang did not dare to be sloppy. It is also found that as his strength increases, the strength of the enemies he encounters becomes more and more tyrannical. The first change of the mere dragon god increases his physical strength, and the second change of dragon sense can no longer cope with his enemies. At the next moment, in the dragon's mouth, a cloud of dark blue dragon flames emerged from its mouth like a meteorite, with the destructive power of the void and the extremely hot aura blasting towards Xiao Yang. This is too strong. Seeing this sudden attack, Xiao Yang's expression became solemn. Obviously, with his tyrannical soul power, Xiao Yang knew that with his current strength, it would be extremely difficult to deal with this attack. Wang buzzing. In an instant, Xiao Yang didn't sit still. The first transformation of the dragon was displayed, and the swallowing flame and fire techniques were displayed in an instant. Normal racing. Humble human being, actually disturbing this emperor's deep sleep. Damn it. The Thousand-Jong giant dragon roared as he looked at Xiao Yang, who was attacked by his own dragon flame and fled like a bereaved dog. However, the body of this Qianzhong Longying is a bit strange. Above that empty body, there seems to be some rather gloomy black aura densely distributed, like a ghostly aura, which is quite terrifying. And it was the suppression of these forces that made Emperor Dragonblood's strength somewhat weak. At this time, his power was only at the peak level of a 4-star Dozyan, far from the imposing manner of a 5-star Dozyan. By the way, the second change of the dragon god, dragon sense? After running away for a while, Xiao Yang suddenly remembered something and exclaimed, "Since you don't run, then die." Seeing Xiao Yang stop suddenly, Qianzhong Longying did not hesitate at all. In front of the dragon's mouth, a scorching blue flame, and the dragon's breath suddenly emerged, as if the elf is beating fast, and this level of power actually makes this barren land reveal an extremely trembling fluctuation, as if it is eating the earth, so that the earth will shatter the void at any time. The second transformation of the dragon god, the sense of the dragon. Seeing this, Xiao Yang was unmoved, his eyes closed slightly, and the casting root of the 9 transformations of the dragon god in his body slowly moved, and then a tyrannical golden power quietly permeated Xiao Yang. On the body of inflammation. Relying on your own strength and dragon blood, can you imitate the real coercion of the dragon family? The 9 transformations of the dragon god are really weird, but this kind of dragon sense doesn't seem to be of much use to the dragon god sitting down and 9 sons. After all, those guys have the power of the real dragon king, but only a few. The guy who talks from the other side has some miraculous effects. Seeing Xiao Yang's appearance, the Soul Eater smiled. After a while, Xiao Yang's body actually slowly disappeared in this world, and a golden dragon with a body that was more than 1,000 meters tall suddenly emerged from the place where Xiao Yang disappeared. The golden dragon, with golden dragon scales all over his body, is quite domineering, and the ancient questions on the dragon scales symbolize its mighty power, revealing the coercion of the superiors invisibly. Dragon God sits down with the eldest disciple, the golden dragon king? How is that possible? Looking at the phantom in front of him, feeling the extremely realistic breath of the superior, the dragon-blooded martial emperor's body of the 1,000-jong giant dragon slowly gathered up and turned into the appearance of a middle-aged man, with blue flames surrounding his body, but his eyes among them. There is an unbelievable look. The 1,000-jong golden dragon exudes endless pressure, like a real giant between heaven and earth. The second transformation of the dragon god is not so useless. Before, due to the shallow practice, I could only release the dragon's might to shock the enemy. Now, with the increase of strength, I can completely master the second transformation of the dragon god, and the display and imitation of the dragon's might. The form of a dragon powerhouse. Dragon sense can make me imitate the breath of the dragon powerhouse, and Long Wei can shock these guys. The combination of the two is a bit overwhelming to deal with these guys, but if it is against the real Dragon King, I am afraid that the backlash will be me, and the imitation of the dragon sense can only be done if you have experienced it. The dragon gave birth to 9 sons. Now I have only seen the breath of the uncle Jinlong Wang. I don't know if the breath of the other 8 sons is stronger than that of the uncle. The golden dragon muttered slowly, but the middle-aged man, Dragon Blood Emperor Wudi, didn't know that this golden dragon king was transformed by Xiao Yang, but Xiao Yang didn't know, because there was a trace of the golden dragon king's breath in his body, so the imitation can be so realistic. Otherwise the ordinary powerhouse imitates it, and it has long been seen by the Dragon Blood Emperor. Chichi's novels are first published on the whole network. I don't know that the golden dragon king is coming, and the subordinates have lost their way. I hope you will forgive me. Looking at the golden dragon transformed by Xiao Yang, the old body of the middle-aged man of the Dragon Blood Emperor suddenly bent, and immediately said respectfully, the cheek showing a touch of respect from the inside out. Although the Dragon Blood Emperor is not a member of the Dragon Clan, he has dragon blood in his body, so he can feel the coercion of the Dragon Clan's supreme power. Although this coercion is quite weak, it is real, so the Dragon Blood Emperor has no doubts. After all, the guy who dares to pretend to be the Golden Dragon King, I am afraid that there are not many people in the entire Dacian world. And most importantly, this Golden Dragon King is the real power of the Dragon Clan. He is not only the eldest disciple of the Dragon God, but his strength is said to be extremely close to the existence of the Dragon God. Dragon God. What kind of person is the Dragon God? That is a legendary figure that exists in the vast world. That is a godlike existence. It is said that the means penetrate the sky and the earth, beyond the control of this world, and the Golden Dragon King, which is infinitely close to the Dragon God, is not a mere 5-star fighting fairy that can handle it. Get up. Why are you stationed here? Being in the blood of the dragon race, why not return to the dragon race? After a while, an ancient voice slowly emerged from the body of the golden dragon. Obviously, this was a scene that Xiao Yang imitated by the second sense of dragon transformation. Return to the Lord. Since the Dragon Clan was torn apart, it was suppressed by the powerhouses of Li Soul Domain by chance. They couldn't kill me, so they could only use ghost energy to seal me in the Earth Spirit Pagoda, trying to get some disciples to subdue me. Perceiving the golden dragon's opening, the Dragon Blood Emperor said respectfully, "Ghost! Seal!" The golden dragon heard the words, and suddenly there was a look of doubt in the golden eyes under the dragon's head. After a while, his eyes looked at the edge of the Dragon's Blood Emperor's body, and the circles were like worms eroding the body. The strange black light is precisely because of the existence of these black lights, and the power of the Dragon Blood Emperor is limited. Otherwise, with his power, he can easily break through here. After all, his cultivation talent is coupled with the mutant dragon blood power. The strength has reached a new level, and the chaotic power of the Earth Spirit Pagoda alone cannot restrain him. The little guy you attacked just now is my disciple, let him help you solve it. After the matter is over, remember to return to the Dragon Clan. After the breath, the light of the golden dragon slowly disappeared, and Xiao Yang's figure immediately appeared in the void space. The Dragon Blood Emperor frowned when he saw this. He was obviously taken aback by this sudden scene, but the breath of the Golden Dragon King was genuine from the bottom of his heart, so he became hesitant for a while. Squeak. With a sound, Xiao Yang's body suspended in mid-air shook abruptly, and then stumbled and fell directly onto the barren land. His face was grey, and he was quite embarrassed, and his expression was in a trance, and his breath was a little weak. Dragon Blood Emperor? What happened? Why can't I remember anything? Suddenly, looking at the burly body of the old middle-aged man in front of him, Xiao Yang looked nervous and lost his voice. Forget it, it should be true. Seeing Xiao Yang's actions, combined with the breath of the Golden Dragon King just now, the Dragon Blood Emperor was no longer in doubt, because the unique aura of the Golden Dragon King could not be imitated. Boy, entrusted by others, the beauty of adults. Come here. After a while, the huge palm of the Dragon Blood Emperor suddenly became illusory, and immediately grabbed the corner of Xiao Yang's clothes, leading Xiao Yang to approach the dark red coffin in the sky. Hee. Xiao Yang noticed this scene and did not have any resistance. It was obvious that the scene he made just now had deceived this guy by deceiving him, and his smile flashed away. Senior, what is this? As soon as he approached the dark red coffin, an extremely strong repulsive force spread out, and it was a little difficult for Xiao Yang's current strength. This is the treasure of the Dragon Clan. I don't know what it is, but this thing has a very high status in the Dragon Clan, because this thing is a coincidence of mine, obtained from the Dragon King at the bottom of the Dragon God 9 Sons ranking. The luck was very good that time, otherwise I could only fall with hatred. Emperor Longxue looked at the dark red coffin in front of him, and said slowly, but his voice was full of pride. Get it from one of the Dragon Kings of the 9 Sons of the Dragon God? Xiao Yang's pupils shrank when he heard the words. I am afraid that this brave Dragon Blood Emperor would dare to say such bold words. Dragon God sat down and transformed into 9 sons. What kind of characters are they? You don't have to think about it, the 9 dragons born to the dragon are 9 Dragon Kings, and even the Dragon King at the bottom of the ranking, that level of strength is probably extremely terrifying, and I am afraid that it is not the existence of the Dragon Blood Emperor 5-star fighting immortals that can compete. Okay. I can't open this dark red coffin, it is extremely well preserved, so since I got it, I have been looking for a way to open it. Dragon Blood Martial Emperor said. Have you not opened it before? Xiao Yang heard the words and nodded slowly. What the Dragon Blood Emperor said was true. After all, Xiao Yang was able to detect the tightly stitched lines on the dark red coffin, which naturally seemed to have never been opened. However, with the passage of time. Now, I also have a hint of eyebrows about this dark red coffin. Looking at Xiao Yang's hot eyes, the Dragon Blood Emperor smiled. What exactly is this? Xiao Yang also asked curiously. This thing seems to be the treasure of the dragon family. That is only related to the legendary Dragon God 9 transformations. Suddenly, a light hum, like a thunderbolt, exploded in Xiao Yang's ear. Just when he said the 4 characters Dragon God 9 transformations, the blood in the body of the Dragon Blood Emperor was trembling involuntarily, as if these words had a special magic power. It has something to do with the 9 transformations of the Dragon God? Hearing the words of the Dragon Blood Emperor, Xiao Yang's heart was filled with horror. What Xiao Yang has now is probably the most mysterious and unpredictable Fenju and the 9 changes of the Dragon God. But Xiao Yang knows that there is no doubt that the 9 transformations of the Dragon God is definitely a fighting technique of the ***** class, and the limit of Fenju is to rely on swallowing holy flames to climb, so Xiao Yang is not sure about the two for a while. What is the strength and weakness of the martial arts fighting skills? However, this reminded Xiao Yang of the Lei Di cannon that Master Lei cultivated on Chifei's body. Xiao Yang always felt that the power of the 9 transformations of the Dragon God was even greater than that of the Thunder Emperor's tome. How? Do you know about the 9 transformations of the Dragon God? As his voice fell, Xiao Yang fell into a brief silence, and the Dragon Blood Emperor said in a puzzled voice, the Dragon Clan's treasure, which is as strong as a giant in the world, and so on. Value is immeasurable. I was fortunate enough to see it once. Xiao Yang scratched his head and smiled, but he did not shy away from it. After all, Xiao Yang could never say that he was cultivating, otherwise the Dragon Blood Emperor would not be jealous. Let's get rid of the ghosts in me first. Since I have confirmed your identity, I will not embarrass you anymore. After a while, Emperor Longxue Wu did not hesitate and said directly, the worm-like strangeness on his body. The ghost chi has been sealing and suppressing its own power, making it painful. Most of the people of the dragon family are rebellious. It seems that although the predecessors are human, but because of the dragon's blood, they are no different from the dragon family. But this approach, the younger generation is naturally willing. Xiao Yang didn't want to waste time with this guy, so he started directly. After all, he has the existence of his own teacher, the Soul Eater. In addition to the blessing of his own dragon god 9 transformations, if Dragon Blood Martial Emperor has any evil thoughts are just self-defeating. Wang buzzing. After a while, the khaki-colored fire heart heavenly rock emerged from Xiao Yang's body, and easily attached to the latter's body. At that time, the strange ghost energy like a worm, like a moth flying into a flame, flew rapidly. Of dying. Saint Yang? Realizing this scene, the pride in the Dragon Blood Emperor's heart was also slightly let down. The many secrets of Xiao Yang also made this strong man a little afraid, because this guy not only has the breath of the Golden Dragon King and the Virtual Shadow, and even the most powerful thing in the world, Sheng Yang's help, made the Dragon Blood Emperor's attitude towards Xiao Yang changed a lot. Because the default rule in the world is that the strong are respected. Crash. After a few minutes, the ghostly seal around the Dragon Blood Emperor's body turned into nothingness under Xiao Yang's holy flame. Suddenly, the old body of the once glorious Dragon Blood Emperor was filled with a gust of energy. A deep breath, a trace of tyrannical fluctuations diffused out, just like a real dragon, making people tremble. Chiche's novels are first published on the whole network. Sure enough, the back waves of the Yangtze River push the front waves. There should be some dragon blood in your body, right? After the breath, Emperor Dragon Blood stared at Xiao Yang, and through Xiao Yang's actions just now, he also smelled the same smell, but Xiao Yang, the power of the dragon's blood in the body is slightly inferior to the dragon's blood in his own body. Senior. Xiao Yang heard the words, his mind moved, and he smiled. The good fortune in this coffin is given to you, but now it's better to solve the coffin first. As for the dragon's blood, don't worry, because I also want to see what is in this coffin. As soon as the voice fell, the human body of the Dragon Blood Emperor dissipated directly, and the cyan dragon body was permeating the sky. The power swept out. Wang buzzing. After a few breaths, the dark red coffin was surrounded by subtle lines, and then a burst of dark red energy suddenly emerged, as if it was provoked by the Dragon Blood Emperor, and it automatically protected it. In the past, I couldn't help you, but now, you have no chance. Kid, help me with holy flame. In an instant, with a deafening roar, the Dragon Blood Emperor shouted. Huixin Tianyang, go! Xiao Yang nodded secretly when he heard the words, and immediately the holy flame crystal fell off, and the extremely pure holy flame source converged on it. With the help of Xiao Yang Shengyan's source, a burst of extremely hot dragon flames quietly permeated out of the Dragon Blood Emperor's dragon head. Dragon flame. Dragon breath. This is a method mastered by some orthodox dragons. Dragon flame is different from ordinary flames. It is composed of the power of dragon powerhouses. Dragon flame is a special flame energy that can burn even the void, and dragon breath is overwhelming. The dragon flame attack, it can be said without hesitation, the two types of attacks displayed by the orthodox dragon race have destructive power. Crash. Long Yang and Xiao Yang's earthy yellow holy flame had just combined. On this barren land, a touch of indifference emerged, and even the entire void became uneasy and trembling, as if it would be given to such a terrifying force at any time. Completely wiped out. Dragon flame. Destroy me. A roar was issued at the speed immediately. Long Yang rushed towards the dark red coffin with the momentum of thunder. Hey! No matter how tyrannical the defense of the dark red coffin was, under the strong cooperation of the two, it became defeated in an instant. Finally. Are you going to open it? Seeing the continuous collapse, the dark red lines around the dark red coffin were burned off by Long Yang, and Xiao Yang couldn't help but speak. Crash. With a sound, the dark red coffin was directly hit by the attack, and immediately a dark red ripple appeared, causing Xiao Yang and the Dragon Blood Emperor to take a step back. Successful. Being shocked, the dragon body of the Dragon Blood Emperor dissipated and the human body was restored, but he said weakly, boom. In an instant, on the dark red coffin, a dark red stone like a lid slowly fell off and fell to the ground, and this void was also filled with a desolate atmosphere, even blurred scenes. The picture suddenly emerged from above the dark red coffin and entered into Xiao Yang's line of sight. The picture slowly became clear, but Xiao Yang's heart was extremely shocked. In the picture, there is a young man, arrogant, with extraordinary bearing, and even the breath of his body reveals the suppression of the superior. The third transformation of the dragon god. Transforming the dragon arm. In an instant, a violent voice resembling the roar of a beast emerged. As the sound fell, Dragon scales appeared on the arm of the man in the picture, and immediately wrapped his arm completely, but Xiao Yang was able to find that with the appearance of this scene, this guy's arm, what a tyrannical destructive power it contains, it is heart-pounding. And in front of it, there is an ancient vicious beast. This vicious beast, Xiao Yang, knows that it is a 5-colored Tianjiao that is comparable to the strength of the human 6-star fighting immortal. 5-colored Tianjiao? This is an ancient alien beast that is enough to evolve into a real dragon. How could it be? Looking at the majestic man and the huge blue-faced dragon in the picture, the Dragon Blood Emperor couldn't help but muttered. The two of them seem to be fighting. After a while, Xiao Yang's expression became tense, revealing this empty picture. He was able to sense the extremely bright and terrifying power in the picture. It doesn't seem to be fighting, but unilateral crushing. The Dragon Blood Emperor lost his voice as if he had suddenly seen something, but when his eyes were fixed on the young man, a suppression from the depths of his soul slowly spread. The third change of the dragon god, the dragon's arm. As the voice fell, the dense azure dragon scales on the palm of the azure-faced man stood out. The dragon scales were extremely ferocious, and they formed an extremely tyrannical defense. The aura of the dormitory is as thick as a mountain, but it also contains a terrifying fluctuation that is quite heart-pounding. The fifth transformation of the dragon god, the claw of the dragon god. In an instant, the man stepped directly over the fourth transformation of the dragon god, and a roar that ran through the sky emerged from his mouth. Wong buzzing. With the voice of the blue-faced man, the arm that was already covered with blue dragon scales suddenly swelled up, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a blue dragon claw that was 1,000 feet tall. The cyan dragon scales are densely covered on the cyan dragon claws, and under the cover of the dragon scales, the entire space reveals an inexplicable tremor fluctuation. In an instant, the dragon claws cover the sky and the sun, and contain a tyrannical aura that destroys the sky and destroys the earth. Crash. With the appearance of this scene, the blue-faced man did not hesitate, his palms clenched suddenly, and the dragon's claws suddenly slammed away directly at the 5-colored Tianjiao in front of him. Letting the 5-colored Tianjiao be there no matter how violently he struggled, he was completely crushed in an instant, and even if any power did not escape, he was completely destroyed by it. Bang bang bang! The void shattered, and the picture slowly became blurred, but Xiao Yang was clear that this was a real existence, definitely not an illusion. Is this the third and fifth transformations in the Dragon God's treasure 9 transformations of the Dragon God? Looking at this shocking scene, even with the strength of the Dragon Blood Emperor Wuxian fighting immortal, he couldn't bear it live in fear. The third transformation of the Dragon God actually has such a tyrannical power. After turning into a dragon arm, the appearance of the dragon scales increases the destructive power of the arm by a geometric multiple. And the fifth transformation of the Dragon God, the destructive power of the Dragon Claw, I am afraid it's enough to make me an invincible existence in my class. The picture completely disappeared, and Xiao Yang muttered to himself. When his uncle Jin Longwang left, he handed over the cultivation route of the Dragon God 9 transformations to himself, but even with his level of power, Xiao Yang was only given the first 5 Dragon God transformations. The last 4 transformations were truly protected by the Dragon Clan, but if Xiao Yang completely mastered the 5 transformations of the Dragon God, he would probably be a powerhouse like Ling Feng, not worth mentioning. Forget it, I can't chew too much, so let's solve this first. After all, I have barely grasped the second transformation of the Dragon God, and I am quite far away from those things. After a while, Xiao Yang shook his head and said, "Go ahead. I'll take care of you here, and I'm going to leave here." After Shun's breath, Emperor Longshue's mind moved and said to Xiao Yang, "Thank you, senior." Xiao Yang clasped his fists and thanked him. As soon as he finished speaking, his body was suspended in mid-air, and he walked towards the dark red coffin that was opened. According to Xiao Yang's perception, the picture just now seemed to be related to something in the coffin, and this thing was impressively present in the coffin. When Xiao Yang's body was just a few meters close to the dark red coffin, a pressure originated from the bloodline suddenly emerged. Long Wei. Upon realizing this scene, Xiao Yang couldn't help frowning and asked in doubt. This power is not the blood of his own Xiao clan, but it is somewhat like the dragon blood absorbed by himself because he cultivated the dragon transformation. Get down. Aware of this Mo Qiong's pressure, Xiao Yang's eyes turned red and he roared, clasping his fingers tightly. A wave of madness permeated. This guy has such a firm mind. It seems that the Golden Dragon King also has a premonition of the Second World War and the catastrophe of the dragon family. I hope this time, the Dragon Clan can truly be unified, otherwise the 9 Dragon Kings will govern themselves, and the Dragon Clan will only be slowly eroded by other weak forces. Seeing Xiao Yang like this, the Dragon Blood Emperor said with relief. Creeping. Xiao Yang struggled for about 5 minutes, and the pressure was immediately wiped out by Xiao Yang, but Xiao Yang's state at this time was also extremely bad, sweating profusely, and his body was full of aura. It was also because of this move that it became weak. What is this? After doing all this, the dark red coffin became quiet, but in its inner space, there was a thumb-sized item like a leaf, standing quietly inside the coffin. It was a rather vague item, but on it, some exquisite lines seemed to have been carved by someone in meditation, exuding endless coercion, quietly permeating the coffin. This is the Scales of Tyrant. Aware of Xiao Yang's surprise, the figure of the Dragon Blood Emperor suddenly came to Xiao Yang's side, but his voice lost his voice when he saw the items standing inside the coffin. Scales of Domination? Xiao Yang couldn't help being shocked when he heard the words. Xiao Yang knew that the so-called 9 sons born to the dragon were after the fall of the dragon god, and its power was divided into 9 descendants, thus forming the 9 dragon kings with the highest status among the dragon clan. Among the 9 dragon kings, the gold and silver dragon kings are naturally ranked first and second. Both of them are the highest in terms of strength and prestige among the dragon clan. In addition, the other 7 dragon kings also have gods and ghosts. Measured terror. Xia is also one of the 7 dragon kings, and he is also ranked relatively close among the 7 dragon kings. Xia, this guy's body is extremely mysterious, but he appears as a young man all day long, and he is a strong man who masters the water attribute. In the top ranks, as for the scales of this tyrant, I am afraid it has the power of a lot of tyrants, and most importantly, if you want to cultivate the 3rd transformation of the dragon god, you must have the dragon scales of the dragon king. Only then. Just when Xiao Yang was puzzled, the master of Soul Eater said, "It turns out that there is such a secret." Xiao Yang nodded lightly when he heard the words. Go. The next moment, Xiao Yang didn't hesitate, his eyes became strange, his palm was wrapped with the power of holy flame, and he immediately reached out to the scale of the tyrant. You bastard, this is the scale of dominance. Xia is located in the front of the 9 dragon kings in the dragon clan, aren't you asking for a dead end? Seeing Xiao Yang being so reckless, the Dragon Blood Emperor couldn't help roaring, and after a while, that is, ready to help Xiao Yang. Wang buzzing. Xiao Yang's palm just touched the blue-colored scale, and a sense of suffocation filled Xiao Yang's body, as if he was dragged into the bottom of the ocean and it became difficult to breathe. Crash. Just when Xiao Yang felt a little powerless, Xiao Yang's Emperor Flame Ring, which had been quiet for a long time, suddenly radiated a dazzling light, and faint golden lines appeared quietly. The golden pattern slowly outlines a rather obscure shape, and this shape is directly outlined into an exquisite dragon, like a miniature version of the Golden Dragon King. With this sudden scene, the scales of the Underlord became quiet, and it was easily subdued by Xiao Yang. At that time, the Emperor Flame Ring was also returning to peace, but the Emperor Yang Ring, which had been silent for too long, was quiet. Finally at this time, the edge is revealed. This video will end here.